Welcome to this session on fundraising and writing fundable development proposals, from idea to investment-ready proposal. My name is Danny. I'm an independent consultant, founder of Impact Oasis, and Grant Writing Instructor at Parami Institute of Continuing Education. A bit about me. I'm a fundraising and business development professional with 7 years of hands-on experience in project design, proposal development, grant writing, donor engagement, and resource mobilization. I've secured over $10 million across more than 150 projects and 120 funders across Myanmar and Southeast Asia, working with organizations including USAID, the EU, British Council, FNF, CPI, Oxfam, ActionAid, UNESCO, and many others. I'm also the founder of Impact Oasis, an AI-powered discovery platform for the social impact ecosystem in Southeast Asia, and a grant writing instructor at Parami Institute of Continuing Education. Let's be honest about funding. Almost every organization says they have a great project idea. Most of them write and submit a proposal, but very few actually get funded. The gap between having an idea and getting funded is not the idea itself. The gap is the strategy. Fundraising is not about asking for money. It is about making the case that your idea or work is worth investing in. The first shift we need to make is moving from clarity to strategy. The amateur view says, we want to do good activities, so we are asking for money. The focus is on organizational need and charity. The professional view says, we have a logical solution to a pressing problem, and we need a partner to scale the impact. The focus shifts to strategic blueprint and shared mission. That one shift changes everything about how you approach a funder. Before you approach any funder, you need to know your organization inside out. Every funder communication sells 3 things simultaneously. Capability, what your organization can actually deliver, your programs, your team, your systems, your reach. Credibility, why funders should trust you, your track record, your impact, your partnerships, your case studies. And compliance, that you operate with integrity, your financial policies, your audit reports, your grant management track record, and your legal registration. We can do this. We have done this before. You can trust us with your money. Know these 3 things before you write a single word to any funder. Not all funders are the same. Know who you are talking to. Bilateral and multilateral donors like USAID, the EU, and UN agencies fund large-scale programs and humanitarian response, and they expect formal proposals, log frames, MEL systems, and audited financials. Foundations and philanthropic funders support thematic priorities, innovation, and locally led work. They value strategy alignment, strong narrative, and relationships. INGOs and issues-based funders like Oxfam, ActionAid, and Dan Church Aid fund locally led implementation and community programs aligned with their mission. They expect strong local presence and the capacity to implement and report. Corporate CSR and impact investors fund business-adjacent social impact and ESG goals. They look for ROI framing, scale potential, and brand visibility. And social investment and special purpose funds support small and medium enterprises and community-based initiatives. They want a clear business model or development case and evidence of feasibility. Research the funder before you write a single sentence. Wrong funder equals wasted proposal. Grants are one door. There are many others. Beyond traditional grants and foundation funding, organizations can diversify through individual and private donors, built through sustained relationships and referrals. Through corporate donors and CSR, businesses fund community work through sponsorships and cause partnerships, and this door is often more accessible than a grant application. Through crowdfunding and community campaigns, for projects with public appeal that are simple, visual, and emotionally resonant. Through products, services, and earned revenue, because your expertise is a revenue stream. And through in-kind support. Equipment, materials, workspace, and volunteer time all count and can be reported as cost-sharing in grant budgets. Diversify your resource mobilization. The most financially resilient organizations combine multiple streams, so when one door closes, they are not left with nothing. The project design and proposal development process has 4 key phases. Phase 1 is getting the idea and concept right. validating your problem and setting the foundation before designing anything. Phase 2 is turning that idea into a solid project, building clear, logical design with structured reasoning. Phase 3 is writing the proposal, packaging your project into the format, language, and structure the funder expects. And Phase 4 is presenting your project to funders and making the case, because answering questions well and articulating your value persuasively is just as important as the written proposal. There are 2 common pathways. The proactive pathway starts when you identify a funding need, develop a concept, find the right funder, and engage, before moving into project design and writing. The reactive pathway starts when a funding opportunity appears. You screen eligibility, develop your concept, and if required, submit a concept note, before moving into design and writing. Both pathways lead to the same place: a full proposal, submission, and what follows. And for most organizations, this is a repeated process, not a straight line. Here, we overlay the 4 phases onto the development process to illustrate how they align with the proactive and reactive tracks, covering every stage from concept to negotiation. Phase 1 is about answering 5 critical questions before you invest time designing anything. First, what is the real problem? Identify it specifically. For whom, where, and why it persists. Go beyond symptoms to root causes. Second, is this fundable? Is the problem evidence-based, clearly scoped, and targeted? Third, who are your stakeholders? Map who is affected, who must change, and who can support or block that change. Fourth, who would fund this? Research which type of funder fits, and their thematic focus, geographic priorities, and past grantees. Fifth, what does the funder expect? Review their required sections, format, and evaluation criteria before you begin designing. If you can't complete all 5 steps, go back to the problem, not forward to the proposal. Phase 2 is where you build the project logic, from problem to root cause, solution, activities, outputs, outcomes, and impact. 5 things to build in sequence. First, define your impact, goal, and objectives. Second, develop your theory of change and logical framework. Third, design outcome-driven activities and outputs, always backward from the outcome, and avoid activity dumping. Fourth, set your measurement plan and smart KPIs. Track change, not just activity completion. And fifth, build your budget and financial logic. Every line linked to an activity, following the 4 principles of reasonableness, allowability, allocability, and realism. A proposal is only as strong as the project logic underneath it. Writing cannot rescue weak design. Phase 3 is where you package everything into a proposal the funder can follow. The anatomy of a winning proposal includes context and background to set the scene and demonstrate credibility, a clear problem definition, a strong project rationale explaining why now and why your organization, expected outcomes and impact, your project strategy and approach, the intervention design with activities and outputs, an implementation plan, cross-cutting considerations like sustainability, inclusiveness, and risk, and a conclusion that reinforces the strategic value and long-term significance of the project. Every section exists for a reason. Skip one and the funder notices. Write in the funder's language, not yours. Most applicants describe what their organization wants to do. Funded proposals demonstrate alignment with what the funder wants to achieve. Most applicants use internal jargon. Funded proposals mirror the funder's own language and priority keywords. Most applicants focus on organizational financial needs. Funded proposals focus on community impact and development outcomes. Most applicants submit the same proposal to every funder. Funded proposals tailor the framing, evidence, and entry point per funder. And most applicants start with the project. Funded proposals start with the problem the funder cares about. Submission is the beginning, not the end. Stage 1 is administrative screening. If you don't follow instructions, elimination happens here before anyone reads your content. Stage 2 is technical review. This is where the quality of your design decides your fate. Stage 3 is due diligence and clarification. Funders contact you with questions, and how you respond matters as much as the proposal itself. Treat this as an interview, not a formality. Stage 4 is final decision and negotiation. budget adjustments, scope refinements, partnership confirmations. Being fundable and being funded are two different things. Build the funder relationship before, during, and after submission. A warm introduction outperforms a cold proposal every time.
Here are the 10 mistakes funders notice immediately. Vague problem statements, not clearly defining who is affected, where, and why. Activity-focused thinking, listing activities without explaining how they create change. Unrealistic project scope. Weak indicators, vague, unmeasurable, and unrelated to outcomes. Budget activity mismatch. Lack of evidence, claims made without data or contextual explanation. Poor logical flow, sections that appear disconnected. Overly technical language that reduces clarity. A weak sustainability plan, with no explanation of what happens after funding ends. And lack of strategic framing, explaining what you will do, but not why the funder should invest. Any one of these can eliminate an otherwise strong application.
After 150 projects and over $10 million raised, here is what I have learned. Fit beats quality. A well-written proposal to the wrong funder loses to an average proposal to the right funder. Know who you are writing to before you write a word. Logic beats passion. Funders don't invest in how much you care, they invest in whether your solution makes sense. Design a strong project first, then write about it. And relationships beat cold applications. Every warm introduction compresses the timeline. Every cold submission fights a longer queue. Start building funder relationships before you have an opportunity to apply. Thank you for watching this session. If you found it useful, please share it with your networks. If you want to go deeper into fundraising, proposal writing, or grant strategy, reach out at DannyWoo3008@gmail.com or connect on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/DannyWoo94. You can also explore Impact Oasis at www.impactoasis.app, a platform connecting funders and organizations across Southeast Asia. And remember, the learning doesn't stop here. You can ask anything about designing and writing fundable development proposals anytime, at your own pace, using the AI-powered chatbot linked on this slide, as well as on the caption below. If you have a proposal to write, start today.